How's it going, everyone? This is Kevin. Today I want to bring along with me to talk about why I believe it'll be very hard to replace my 35-150 anytime soon. So let's jump right into it. Ever since I got this lens, it really hasn't left any of my camera bodies when it comes down to photos and videos. The only other option that I kind of been using a lot was my Tamron 35-150mm, which I am currently filming with and getting some nice lovely wind through my hair right now. Good stuff. This lens has made me basically sell all my primes, and I kept my 28-75 and 70-180 by Tamron, but they're more on my wife's camera setup, so I've honestly just stuck with this lens because it's just too good to pass up, and I'm here to explain why. So first things first is just the focal range that you get from the 35-150 at f2 to 2.8 is just kind of unmatched with anything else out in the market currently. The focal range of this lens just truly allows me to cover all my bases when it comes down to my photo and video making that honestly I haven't really found anything else that would be a like 35-150 kind of range with that f2 to 2.8. And especially for the price point that you're getting this at, which honestly has just made it stay on my camera 99% of the time unless I'm using my 17-28 to do the vlogging parts of my videos. But even this one allows me to do a lot of cool b-rolls with photos as well. It's just kind of hard to take out of my camera right now, but it really is hard to beat the range with this lens. And I mean, to me, it's just something that I can't find anything that I would be replacing it with whatsoever anytime soon. Secondly is the price point. The price point of what you're getting with this lens is just kind of unmatched right now. There's really nothing that I can compare it to that would say would be ideal to have because of what you're getting with the focal range and the aperture is just such a good bang for your buck product. Yes, Sony does have a lot of G Master lenses that have, IBIS and everything, but the price on those are quite incredibly high when it comes down to the difference of, this lens to them. You would have to get a 24-70 and a 70-200 just to compensate for basically the focal range of this, and they're still only an f2.8, so you're also spending about $5,000 versus $1,900 when it comes down to the Tamron. So like I said, it's hard to find something in the price range to really overtake what this lens can offer me right now. Sure, I don't have a in-body stabilization with this lens, but I do have a stabilizer, and that's still more than fine of what I need to use. And the body and stabilization of the camera bodies still does a pretty good job, and I just work on not being that shaky, so it is what it is. And if you think about it, having to add 2 more lenses to your setup is just a lot more gear in your backpack. And talk about the backache, because in reality I don't feel like having too much gear in my camera bag whenever I'm out shooting. I want to try to do it as light as possible if the job allows me to do so. So this lens makes me reduce my gear intake, and that's helped out a lot. For my third point, it's just the aperture of an f2 to 2.8 in a zoom lens like this is just so good. I can get an f2 at 35 and make my way slowly to an f2.8 all the way to the 150 mark. And honestly, at the 50 range, I mean, you get basically an f2.2. So for a 50 and nifty 50 at f2.2, it's actually pretty good. And for me, it just made me get rid of my prime lenses because the bokeh in them wasn't as big difference kind of style between them that it just didn't make sense for me to keep my prime lenses. And I know a lot of people love primes because they say that they're sharper, they're better overall and everything, but for me, for the quality, I couldn't find anything that was like that much of a difference that would make sense for me to keep my prime lenses and then have this one as well. So it made me just get rid of some gear to be able to just condense things down to be more efficient to what I need. So with that said, they would have to really bring out a really great lens to compare to this one, but not even just to match the specs, but do something even better. All those companies that have, you know, the rival companies of Tamron, obviously Sony has to come something even greater, because despite having those G Master lenses that are pretty great, they have to bring something to the table that just makes sense financially for people, and you know, the focal range with the f-stop as well for me to want to change. Because if they just come out with something that's a 35-150 f2 to 2.8 and it's maybe has in-body stabilization, but the lens is like $3,000 or maybe more, it doesn't make sense for me to really jump ship from this one that quick, because from $1,900 is actually a pretty good price of a lens that, like I said, they have to bring something even more extraordinary that it just makes sense for me to be wowed to want to replace this anytime soon. So my ideal dream scenario lens would probably be something like a 24-200 f2 to 2.8. If Sony would bring it with IBIS, then I would be fine kind of spending a little bit more money to get into that range, but I highly doubt they'll probably bring something like that to the table anytime soon. I don't know if Tamron might be working on something, or maybe Sigma, or even Rokinon or anything like that, because I feel like it'd probably be a lot more complex than just, you know, saying it out loud. The complexity of these zoom lenses with everything, I know it can lose a lot of the sharpness and stuff like that too. So that's what I'm saying. It's just more of a wishful kind of dream lens, but if it ever comes down to it, that would be something ideal for me to replace it. But is it going to happen anytime soon? Probably not. But who knows, maybe a company will surprise us and bring something better to the table than the Tamron 35-150. Despite that, I highly doubt it anytime soon, but I think a lot of people are very excited about this lens with the 35-150. I know a lot of you guys have been asking me, how did I get mine so early? And the simple question and answer to that and all that aspect of 1,000 times that I get asked about it, it's just I got in early with the pre-order through B&H, and I kind of got lucky that I got it at the end of October when it was supposed to be released. So what I would personally do is go check with B&H and see what they have, ask their customer service, because sometimes they have an idea of when the shipment will arrive, and maybe you'll be one of the lucky ones to be able to enjoy this awesome lens, because it is pristine and I don't see it replacing it in my camera gear anytime soon. But if you have any questions or, you know, comments that you would like to leave down below, always welcome to have those there. And if you have any other video ideas that you want me to do with this lens and setup, you know, I'm always open to, you know, other ideas that you guys want to share and for me to try out to see if it'll help other people as well, and maybe yourself to see, you know, what other things you would want for this lens to convince you to try to find one for yourself, since it'll be a lot harder to find just now. But always leave a comment down below and I'll be happy to have a nice conversation with you guys and see how else I can help you guys out. But with all that said and done, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, share this video with a friend. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.